Did figure this out. I think we might not stream that way today. I think
That's fine.
I'll just work on this
That's
here.
fine. We'll figure it out for
Yeah.
next time, then. I still want to try and figure it out.
No, please still try
It's going
figuring
back
out.
up.
Yeah, because I took myself off Wi-Fi. And you
Okay.
took this off Wi-Fi?
I don't think I did.
Sorry, guys, for making you hop all over the place when you, if you come in. Oh,
I need to
yes.
go back to this.
But yeah, Neil, as soon as I put my phone on Wi-Fi, which is required for my camera to be connected to... Welcome back, welcome back. But yeah, as soon as I put my phone on Wi-Fi to connect it so that way I can use my camera, my phone as a camera, it dropped everything. So Hooded's gonna figure something else out so that way we don't have these problems next stream.
An actual camera would be helpful.
It would possibly helpful. Oh, Catlin, can you type into there saying yes and that we went back to this? Thank you. Oh, never mind. She's here. Catlin's here. As soon as you put a load to the Wi-Fi, it's not strong enough. Yeah. So
once I figure it out, I will have it ready for next week.
Yeah, we'll have it ready for next week. But so Hooded's old phone is my face cam, and my phone is my hand cam. And Hooded's gonna try to figure out if he can get his old phone straight connected to the computer so we don't have that on Wi-Fi, and then my phone on Wi-Fi. We could go talk to Verizon about home internet. Well, it couldn't necessarily be home internet. It would definitely have to be the same setup as we have with, because that's our box. It's not connected. So you got the purple wire there that goes into, I don't know what that purple wire is. Is that hardlined into the computer?
That's purple. My computer, yeah.
Okay, and then you have the power, but there's no like in your homes, you have it hooked up to a phone jack in the wall. Well, we don't have a phone jack where we are. So they would have to have the same kind of box. And I'm sure that's what you're talking about. So this wing does not look as good as that wing. It also doesn't help that we're in a kind of weird spot for Metro or T-Mobile. There's not a lot of people that are around here using it, which I think is strange. And we would have to ask our neighbors what they use for internet too, to see. Because I wonder, what does our other neighbor use for internet? Do you know what he uses over there?
I think. He doesn't pay for it.
Oh, okay. I see, Neil. Yeah, that might be an option we look into more as we go down.
An actual camera would certainly lighten the load.
Yeah, an actual camera would certainly lighten load. Which I could do.
I mean, it should be working, but I don't know. Enable developer options by tapping build number 7 times in the system settings.
7 times. But yeah, so an actual camera for my hand cam would definitely lighten that load because it'll be directly connected to the computer.
Weird. I did the developer thing. Can I do it now?
But, you know, today this is okay. Tomorrow's going to be fun at work because we have to have someone come in and count every single product in the whole store. And see if we have too many losses over the over time. Which is surprising that they're still doing that.
We may have to spend
That depends on what we get.
You guys should convince her to do surprise streams.
Surprise streams. But it can't be when someone else is streaming that I want to watch.
Of course not.
Because I want to watch them.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
So that's like...
Come on. Do me a favor here and work.
Hooded wants me to do surprise streams. I don't know if you can actually hear him. I don't know how well he's coming through.
Sure, I could. I heard it.
So back to my question. Do you have a favorite game? Okay, favorite game. You're right. You did ask that, and I got distracted. Favorite game. A game I can go back to over and over again. And I think it's just, that's so hard. That's such a hard question, a favorite game. Because I feel like a favorite game would require me to have every version of that on every platform I can. And I don't necessarily have anything like that. I enjoy, what is that game called? Can't even think of it right now. I played Animal Crossing for a long time, every day. I caught every fish, every bug, every critter, and I was working on getting every piece of art. But I haven't played that in a while. So it's hard to say favorite game because I don't really have a game I want to go back to. And then now I'm enjoying depersonalization and learning the ins and outs of that game. So favorite is a really hard... I could tell you like a genre of games I like, which is puzzle games. Almost anything puzzle game I will play. But I don't think that's a good enough answer for you, Neil, is it?
I've been playing a game called the Dyson Sphere Program, and there are no enemies right now, although they intend to put them in soon. And it's a logistics game where you transport materials that you mine from a planet, then you process them to create the materials to put around a star to create a Dyson sphere to harvest all of the star's energy for the mother brain.
If you can hear him talking back there.
I told you they can hear me just fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm listening.
I wasn't listening to you. But yeah, so I think that's the best answer I have for you, Neil, as far as favorite games go. Is that anything puzzle game? What would you say your favorite video game is, Neil? I couldn't even say I have like a favorite board game. Yeah. Is that a hard question to answer, Neil? New Bexy is up. Had a new idea for a... Ooh! Go to Discord real quick.
Just 1 second.
Okay. I will check it out as soon as Hooded lets me have access to Discord.
I'm trying to figure this out.
I like the idea that she is revamping her Bexy too.
So maybe you guys just needed another day for that.
Yeah, maybe we didn't like our original ideas, and so now that's what we're doing today. Oh. Oh, that is cool.
Is this tail feathers fire?
Oh, Catlin, that is so awesome. Yeah, are his tail feathers fire?
Oh my goodness.
I kind of like this because Hooded was talking about how it's ooh. Oh, now he's too heavy on that side, so now I gotta repin this leg
What?
towards the same height. Just feathers for now. Okay.
How about that?
Ha 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 ha. I got a balance on him. I'm running out of clay. Depends on what generation of systems. In the UK, we had Spectrums, and it had a game called Manic Miner. And I think that was probably the first game I played, and I loved it. Well, that's kind of fun. Manic Miner. Is that... like, what did you do in the game? I mean, obviously you mined. But did you... I don't know. I don't know what question I'm asking. Holy cow. I don't know what question I'm asking. How old is Manic Miner? It says use Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to use USB. It should show up in that list.
Okay.
Ugh. Why did it go backwards so quickly? It worked last week. I'm not doing anything different.
Yeah, I have it stuck in my head. The Xbox 360 had Gears of War, and that got me into multiplayer games. Oh, cool.
We played Borderlands, and that got us in multiplayer games.
I think Borderlands is probably something that takes me closest to a favorite game, I think. And I don't know why I didn't think about it until you said it.
I was playing the third one recently, too. I really want to get you the third one now.
So we can play together. Oh, why are you going? Manic is probably 1983, around that. Okay. So probably pretty basic gameplay.
Okay. It's in there now. Are you going to see it now?
That's pretty cool, though. He's getting too heavy again. Diddly. I feel bad I have to make noise because there's no music going. You guys can play your own music in the background. It was a platformer game. And platformer is a style of gameplay that I'm not fond of. No. I didn't think so.
I like watching Mario.
I like watching Mario. Don't necessarily like playing.
This video matters a lot much.
What? Is one of your ports up there broken?
Ports?
Your USB ports. Or is it?
No, because they all usually work when I have the other things set up. I can't. This mess doesn't work. Jeez.
Hooded's all flustercated over here, still trying to figure stuff out. I really appreciate him.
It worked last week and it isn't working this week. And I didn't change anything.
And last week we used more internet, and this week is a brand new start of internet. There's something magical about Wednesdays that it is No, but I do like Borderlands. I like the humor of Borderlands. Hey, I like, I don't know, soft flinch. Um, Humor's big. Gameplay is fairly easy for a shooter. Oh, the Nathan Drake series was good too. Uncharted, which I haven't seen the movie yet. I want to see the movie. Um, just took me a little bit to think about some games I played. Uncharted was a lot of fun. It had a lot of lore in it and some puzzles. And then shooter, which I'm not a big fan of shooters, but it's funny that two of the games I say I enjoy are shooters. Um, Look at my little birdie. I like how his eye accidentally formed right there. I'll have to work on that. What other games have I played? I grew up playing Mario. But like I said, platformers are not my big thing. Crash Bandicoot was fun.
Well, different platformer than you normally would think.
Right. It's more Temple Runner. And I like Temple Runner. I like Tomb Raider over Uncharted. See, and I tried playing the more recent Tomb Raider, and I did not care for it. But it has a mechanic in it I don't really like. Is that the right word? Mechanic? Crafting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of crafting on the fly. It's like one of the reasons why I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, despite Hooded's constant wishings of me wanting to play. But it just... crafting on the go does not sound like a fun thing to do. After today, we probably can just do that for you. And I never played any of the original Tomb Raiders. So the first Tomb Raider I ever played was the fairly recent one. And you had to craft to continue on with the game instead of just finding stuff. I only played for a bit, but it was very fun. See, Neil, Hooded loves Horizon Zero Dawn, and he wants to play the next one too. He just hasn't focused on it because he's been working on Dyson Sphere and...
Oh, PlayStation.
We don't have...
PlayStation, you can play it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not on PC?
They haven't put it on either console yet. They will though, soon.
I see. Yeah, we don't have a PlayStation.
They're being quite open, Sony is lately. We'll probably be seeing all sorts of things that they've been holding back.
I don't know where we will put a PlayStation in here.
Right there.
Right there. Oh. Still don't know how I feel about these looks, so they're not going to be set in stone yet. We're going to work on his eyeballs. And I kind of like this, like, pointed thing, so we're going to go here. And here. And, oh, I need... By the way, if you guys haven't seen the short yet, here's little Snorlax. He's so stinking cute. And you can't see him very well on this camera.
You said Snorlax.
I said Snorlax? Yeah. Slowpoke. I don't know how to talk. It's Slowpoke. Oh, look at his little... Yeah, PlayStation for Hooded is definitely way over Xbox, and I'm not a big fan of a lot of Xbox games. I know, he's so cute. I just love him.
I can go on my computer and play Game Pass. That's Xbox. I don't need an Xbox anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sony, however, has not done that. They've made it very hard to get some of their stuff. You
I
have
love
to have a
him.
PlayStation for some really high quality games.
Did
And I
I?
do want to get a PlayStation 5 before the sequel to the Final Fantasy VII remake comes out.
Okay, I have to do something too.
It's a
Look at
game.
this Bidoof. I made him for Monday. Look at how cute he is. Look at his little teefies. Nee, 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 nee. I love him too. These are my cutest ones. I think right now these two are my favorites that I've made. And I've made so many. I love them. Alright, back to the Bexy. Stop getting distracted by cuteness. Oh, we still have that questionable ice cream up in the freezer. And the reason why I say questionable is because someone gave it to Hooded while he was at work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And Hooded did not have access to a freezer until he came home at 10 p.m. And then he goes, well, I'm going to put it in the freezer and we'll see how it lasts. So, questionable ice cream.
Wow.
Oh, we played that game too, World of Warcraft.
We have the software to do head and eye tracking.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And as long as it's not too frostbitten, I might try eating it. We'll see. Still nervous. But Hood did get me hummus, and so I can eat that. I do like Skyrim. I did play Fallout. Fallout has that. See, Skyrim, it had the crafting mechanic where you can craft better items.
It wasn't that important, though.
But it wasn't as important, so I didn't really care.
You could use it, but you didn't need to.
Did
That's
Fallout have a craft? It did have a crafting.
And a build.
A craft and a build?
And a... whatever that was with the suit.
Yeah.
Modification system in there.
So Fallout wasn't as bad as far as crafting goes. In my opinion, but I definitely like Skyrim over Fallout.
When you say crafting, you're talking about the kind of crafting where you get materials from the world to make ammo and weapons.
Yeah.
And upgrade your weapons.
Yeah.
That's the kind of crafting you don't like. Minecraft was great.
Yeah.
Memorizing the patterns is actually kind of fun for you.
Yeah.
But that kind of crafting, it's a solo gaming experience, I think.
I try to play with Skyrim 4 or 5 times. I just don't enjoy it. I mean, that's okay to not enjoy it.
I think Skyrim and Breath of the Wild are about the same quality. They're just from different generations.
Well, you also never really cared for Zelda because it wasn't... I mean, did you grow up with Nintendo?
It's yes. I mean, I played the original Final Fantasy on Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day. But I think everyone should grow up on Nintendo. I think that's the problem with Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
Is that their intention is to make games for people who are growing up with Nintendo.
I'm 5 years old. I like Nintendo.
That isn't a dig on Nintendo. They do it very, very well. But the repetition is the usefulness of it. In fact, inside Pokemon, there's 1,000 Pokemon, which really allows the player to be creative in that area. So you can make little things and they can draw things. Other people can express their creativity along with playing the video game and capturing the monsters.
But I definitely very much enjoyed Skyrim.
And Skyrim's just like Zelda, but not for kids.
I definitely like dual wielding maces and going smashy smash. I'm still not too loud, am I? I'm like right next to the phone. I'm trying not to be too loud. I'm liking most of what I've done here. A lot better than my other Bexy. I'm still not a big fan of the wings, but I wasn't sure how to do wings that weren't dragon-esque, and you did say they get them confused with dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
I imagine it's from a distance, not from up close.
yeah.
You know, like off in the distance, they see this big flying thing. They think maybe it's a dragon, but in reality, it's just a Bexy. They couldn't see the leg or whatever, the extra leg or whatever, or the feathers.
It is difficult to do a feathered wing out of clay with limited experience. It's like to no lag when you do it from your phone. Can you really? We have the windows open. And there's a little dog run right next to where we live. Which is the greatest thing. So, Hooded and I love dogs. And we get to see every stinking cute dog that comes through here. It is awesome.
In fact, just recently I saw 4 Afghani hounds flying around out there. You know, with those long fur just kind of floating everywhere.
And they were just bolting.
Running around all over.
Oh my goodness. That alone is entertainment right there. I'm so happy that we are where we're at, because you got the canal rushing behind you. You got the little dog run where you see all the cute little doggies. The only thing we don't have is internet on Wednesdays.
It's probably ready to go now. Just watch.
Right.
Oh, and then there's The Binding of Isaac.
Oh yeah, Hooded.
I've been playing a lot of.
Hooded.
1,328 hours in.
Hooded and our friend Bryant really like The Binding of Isaac. It
is a story about a boy whose mother is told by God to kill him, and so he escapes into the basement, and you kill enemies and travel through the basement, then through the caves beneath the basement, then the necropolis beneath that, all the way down until you defeat Mom, and that's how you win the first fight of the game. It's a roguelike, so the intention is to play it over and over, and after you do that, there's another area after that you can unlock. And then after that, there's a split where you can go one of 2 ways, and then each one of those gets another one. And then after all that's unlocked, you start unlocking an alternate path down to Mom from the first path. So there's a lot to unlock within the actual just playing of the game. Not to mention all of the items.
all the characters.
All the characters. It's something like 28 characters to play.
Is it really 28?
I don't know, there's 14 in times 2 because of the tainted.
Yeah.
They all can react differently in the game. All of them have different abilities, and they get different starting items you can unlock. It's just all over the place. I just lost you.
That could be because you're on the internet. Hit this. Hey. There we go. Now we're back. Oh, I like solitaire. I play solitaire constantly on my phone.
Yeah, it makes you a real gamer.
It makes me a real gamer.
Solitaire is a 10 out of 10 for you.
So I was talking to someone else about, actually, I'm just noticing I don't have any new, oh, I have one right there, one. So I have a lot of anxiety, and I like to pick at,
Our internet's just going in and out.
yeah. I like to pick at my fingers to self-soothe. And so, but doing clay and crafting has definitely helped me not pick as much. Do have one little oopsie here, and I try to clip instead of pick, so that way, because if I feel,
AK Gamer here, she should be hearing this.
I know, AK Gamer, where are you at, AK Gamer? I don't think she subbed to me. That's funny. Oi. Sorry for the noise. And I'm just noticing I don't have any picking. I can't remember the last time I did that. But solitaire I play while I'm watching a show. Or yeah, mostly watching a show when I'm not doing something important, and it helps me not pick as much.
Another game I've been playing recently is called Bullets Per Minute.
Oh, Bullets
That
Per Minute is
is
kind of
a
interesting.
first-person shooter where you play as a Valkyrie tunneling down to hell to stop Nidhogg from destroying the world or something like that. I don't know. It's irrelevant because you go around shooting spiders and bats and other bad guys deep down
To the beat.
to the beat of the song that's playing.
Yeah,
And
so
if you fail, the bullet doesn't fire, and you have to reload to the beat, and you have to initiate your sprint to the beat.
yeah.
You have to double, and then you have to fly to the beat too, I believe, if you get flight.
But that one's kind of a fun game to watch Hooded play. I'm not
intense.
I'm not a big fan of it. I bet you have something downloading.
Oh, because I restarted.
Yeah, I bet you have something downloading.
You're probably right, because it's clearing right up the audio.
Yeah.
I restarted the PC, and so I just initiated the download when it restarted.
Eee.
I could have stopped the stream.
That would have cracked me up. Hooded.
Oh gosh, I keep trying to download Shadow of Mordor because I've played a little bit of it, and I know it's like a 4,000-hour game. It's an insane big game that you can do a lot of stuff in.
Yeah.
And I've played a little bit of it, and I know that there's 3 different stories, each one of them equally big.
So Hooded was downloading a game, and that could be the reason why the switch over had issues. Because he had restarted the computer, and it may have reinitialized that download. What a goober.
I'm currently in talks with somebody I'm hoping will maybe turn out to doing an indie game podcast.
That would be cool. Trying to make a feather here. Yes, it would, see? It cracks me up.
There's another game I'm playing that's in early access, because as I said, I'm huge into indie. It's called Nova Drift, and it's a asteroid-style game where you're the spaceship and you're shooting the bad rocks, and then eventually enemies will come. Well, in this one, it's like super pretty space-style game, and the spaceship in the middle can be a different style. Each one of them housing a different way the weapons interact with it. There's a ton of different weapons that you can use, like widespread fire, or there's a thermal lance, which is just a beam that comes out in front of you. There's these boomerang things that get thrown out and come back, and they do a lot of damage to anything they touch. There's just a lot of different options, and then you can change out how all that interacts, including a shield. There's tons of different kinds of shields. And then you change how all that interacts as you level up, like getting more spread, bigger damage, homing shots, or the ability to strafe, or the ability to kind of teleport instead of move the same way.
I think you're rambling now.
Well, it's the game. I have a lot to say about it.
That one looks like a lot of fun for you to play.
It's pretty.
It is really pretty.
And the enemies are fascinating.
Hello, TJ Canada. Welcome. And this is me live streaming from my phone because we were having uh, internet issues. So hopefully we've
Dumb
solved.
husband issues.
I mean, I always have dumb husband issues,
You can see it's not like right now.
but at least you're cute.
Oh, no, because there's no connection.
So we're hanging out, and this is one of the beasts that we were making last time, and I'm working on making it look better while we're streaming. Hehehe. Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War both have an army commander system. If you die by an orc, it gets promoted and gets stronger.
Yes, that's what I've been doing, and I want to get back into it. And that's why I'm re-downloading it, but it's like 900 gigabytes or something. No, it's 96.1.
And Hooded can't remember before he goes to bed to start the download while we're asleep.
Oh, I don't know if that was it, 'cause it's still having issues.
I mean, what else is loading, though?
Nothing.
And Wednesdays are our cursed internet days. Mondays, I don't think we've ever had issues with Mondays. Ever.
Maybe we try Thursday.
Thursdays, I work nights.
We'll do it in the morning.
So we'd have to do it in the morning.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be bad.
Maybe not, yeah.
Maybe we just get early night sleep on Wednesday instead of stay up super late.
There, I added a little feather on his head.
We're discussing indie games now, Canada.
Yeah.
TJ Canada.
TJ Canada.
We're talking about
What
video games.
kind of video games do you like to play? Neil has posed this question for us, and so I'm curious. Still don't like these feet. Man, if I could just have a bird with no feet, I'd be happy. I know.
I know, it looks stupid, but that's the way it is, you know. I'm not gonna change it. It's not something I'm making up.
I know you.
I'm creating it.
But this is the Bexy from the continent of Wistix. And it's huge. It can fit, what did we say, three fully grown puck, which are 4 feet humanoid creatures. 3 feet. 3 feet. I say
4 feet.
4 feet.
It is 4 feet.
We.
They're not super small people. There's just the one trick to them, right? You know the one trick.
Oh yes, the one trick to the puck is that their knees can bend both ways.
It's very strange. This is one that I would like to see somebody draw, but I also think that doing the beasts first would be better for everybody, wouldn't it? To get used to it over and over.
Yeah.
And then maybe do something a little more complex like a race creature.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're struck with it, I'm never going to stop you. Anything I say can be drawn. And from your point of view, it's right. Every single time from my point of view and your point of view.
And he's totally not going to steal everybody else's ideas, just mine.
In fact, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think these should be held back. I think anyone should have access to these if they want to use them. So, unless that's different for you.
Which same goes for all types. My favorites probably include WoW, Red Dead, Spyro, Sea of Thieves. Spyro's was... Okay, so, let me finish reading this comment real quick. Was fun. Older Call of Duty games and indie Dark Souls games. Those are fun.
Every Spyro I've ever played has been fantastic.
Yes, every Spyro I have played has been fantastic.
I can't say that about Zelda. Can't say that about Mario. But I can about Spyro. They've nailed a single Spyro game.
When I was growing up, me and my brother would play Spyro, and we would take turns. Either you die or complete a level, and we would take turns, and it was the next person's turn. And our favorite thing to do was drink cherry Kool-Aid with powdered cinnamon in it. And that was our, gaming drink when we played Spyro.
I've
And
been hearing. Oh,
and so like when they remastered Spyro, me and my brother were like, okay, we need to do this again. And we got Kool-Aid and powdered cinnamon and mixed it again. And it was just like the old days. Like nothing was changed. The nostalgia of it didn't fade or dissipate. Everything was still
and
there.
it's always good that good too.
Yeah, it was.
And my nostalgia of it is good too. It's crazy how well they did on that original Spyro game with the blocky gray Spyro, purple Spyro saving the world. It was. Man,
The PlayStation 1 days, Spyro was the bomb. Super into Crash Bandicoot Racing.
oh my
Nice.
god. CTR? Yes, please. That update was so good. Oh my goodness. But Naughty Dog has always been good. They have never had a bad game as far as I say. Their very first one, maybe. I don't remember. It was some weird game that they were helped on, but everything they've done is just top tier.
What's the Naughty Dog game you're trying to convince me to play?
What?
Isn't there a Naughty Dog game you're...
Well, I mean, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, that's right.
Specifically, The Last of Us 2. Just so good.
I wish I can get it better. Little feathers on his head. Do you see his little feathers on his head? He's got cute little feathers. I think I only like the two feathers.
Maybe that's where the feathers came from. Just on the top of its head?
Yeah. I loved Crash Bandicoot. And then there was Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter was a fun game.
That's right. No, I'm confusing Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot, right?
Why?
Are they both Naughty Dog?
I don't know if Crash Bandicoot is not.
That's
I don't remember.
I was confused about. Maybe Neversoft.
You got a phone right over there. You got a computer right over here. Figure it out. You have technology at your fingertips. Why are you not using them? It's another game I used to play all the time on my PlayStation. See, I didn't get into Final Fantasy games until Final Fantasy X was the first Final Fantasy game I ever played.
Okay, it is naughty.
Crash Bandicoot is naughty.
Yeah, because CTR
Naughty
is Naughty Dog.
Dog.
It was Blue Point that recently put those remakes out that were really good. I think they got the fourth game too. I never got a chance to play that though. But see, none of those are indie. TJ Kennedy, what about indie games? Because I think that indie games are the new thing. Because it's like Game Pass is a house for them, and eventually Sony's going to have something very similar.
I was super into Yu-Gi-Oh! And there was a game for the PS2 called Duelist of the Roses, and I couldn't...
That would be D-U-E-L.
Well, okay. It would make more sense if it was Duelist, and I wondered...
I don't think so.
If it was
a that's dull.
Dullest of Roses?
Yeah, of the roses.
Of the roses?
Like there's a bunch of roses, and that one's the dullest.
Okay, let's figure this out.
The minimum, I'll say.
Let's Google this.
Oh, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay. I see.
Hey, I was right. It's Duelist. See? I read context, not individual words.
Dullest of the Roses still sounds like a better video game. But it sounds like a Talos Principle kind of game. Or what was that one where they had to, the colors, and you had to, like, do lines to the colors?
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about at this point.
You played most of it.
Cube? Colors. What counts as an indie game? TJ is asking what counts as an indie game.
That's a really good question. I think that the developer has to be not as big in the AAA area, mostly. So...
Had to stop working to give my views on Last of Us. I played it, and while I played it, I was thinking all the time, I don't see the hype. But once I beat it, I was like, wow, what a masterpiece.
That's what I mean. You don't expect it, but they nailed it on every single mark. I can't think of a negative thing to say other than it's being locked behind Sony PlayStation. If that wasn't locked, that would guarantee it a 10 out of 10 in my heart. But I understand why it's locked behind it, and I'm accepting of it. So, to keep that quality coming, however you're doing it, and if that's a part of it, keep that happening.
See, my biggest thing about The Last of Us, it is a... The Last of Us 2 upset people, but I felt it was amazing. For me, The Last of Us is a genre of game style I don't like. Where you're...
That doesn't make any sense. It's a third-person shooter, which is Uncharted, which is the genre of the game.
But, like, what you're fighting, which tends to be...
You don't like the horror part of the genre.
I don't... Well, no, but I like depersonalization, and there's a horror theme to that.
That is not horror. That is...
Eldritch horror?
It's cosmic horror. It's the
Cosmic
thing Lovecraft
horror.
created. And I feel like what I've always felt from Lovecraft is the kind of fear you get from something that can't hurt you. Every single time there's this book called The Color Outside of Time, or Outside of Space. And it's a book about people finding a color, and they describe the color as a color no one's ever seen. And if anyone sees this color, they go mad.
Oh.
It can't hurt you. Whatever this color is, it can't hurt you, but yet people are going mad. So that's the Cthulhu fear. Whereas
see.
With horror, it's more in your face, like the shock and scare tactics.
Yeah.
So you're right, it's not really horror, it's intense.
Oh.
That kind of fear is...
I'm a big baby when it comes to scare games. I tried playing Outlast and almost broke my headset. Wow. I realized another aspect of... I tried Last of Us 2, but couldn't do it. Another aspect of Last of Us I don't really care for is sneaking. I am not good at sneaking. Patience.
That's what sneaking is. Sneaking is waiting for the right moment and recognizing when it's there.
So when I played...
And that's... I love
Ooh, color suggestions for the Bexy. She's getting to color now.
Well, I did say black. I made sure there was some kind of black because it's linked to misfortune.
Did you post the description of the Bexy in the Discord?
No. Well, I think I did the other day. I think I posted...
Oh, you did.
Yeah, right here.
Does it say black in there?
Yes.
Okay.
It's black feathers, make pen. So the feathers are black and that's it. So whatever you have that's not feathers can be whatever color.
Yeah.
It's up to me. But if there's feathers, there's just got to be some feathers somewhere that are black.
So...
But it's also linked to misfortune. So maybe some like reds or dark blues. Or
she was saying red or green or gray. Red or gray.
Oh, gray, yes. Whatever really evokes misfortune. I think blue does too because it evokes sadness. And red does because of the fear and anger and blood colors, you know. You wouldn't necessarily see bright colors though, that's for sure. And they're scary.
TJ Kennedy, do you have any art?
Do you like to do any crafting or paint anything? And you do any art?
Yeah.
That's the goal with us. We're trying to get people to make these creatures. And on Monday next Monday at least, we're gonna be putting out a new one. And we've already got 3 set up and they're deceptive.
Yes, we're having deceptive monsters.
I mean, I guess we could discuss them now, right?
And get an idea in people's head.
So that way we have time to think about it and you guys can decide next week. Right?
Yeah.
We discussed them today, so it'd be fun to speak of them anyway.
You want me to read them since I'm closer, or do you feel like...
No, I can do it.
Okay. Hooded is now going to read descriptions of creatures.
So the first one is the... Let me make sure I'm saying this right. The Squalena.
Squalena.
It's called the Squalena, which is a very fun name because of what it is. So this is how it is. The young are born looking very wrinkly and old. And when they have fully matured, they have quite large eyes surrounded by innocent-looking features. But behind it all is a mouth full of teeth that doesn't understand what innocence means. They grab tightly to their prey with 2 adorable little front claws and bury their teeth into your flesh. That's the Squalena.
Okay, hold on one second. So Catelyn says gonna have to be gray because black feathers aren't gonna show up well. not advanced enough to have black as the main color without losing all the lines, which is understandable. So we'll interpret all your gray as black is what I'm seeing. And TJ Kennedy says, I'm not good at art. The only thing I can do that's artistic is aquascaping. I love my fish tanks. Interesting.
Yes, and maybe there's some way you can use these in an aquascape or whatever that is. But I also know that we have, last week with the Bexy, there was another one called the Glip. And the Glip was a small fish that came in schools. And they were bioluminescent, so you could see them underwater. And the special part of them was that they were kind of shaped, and their nose was very sharp. And they secreted a poison. And so what they do is they stab whatever is in front of them to get the poison into them and then wiggle themselves out and run away.
Uh-huh.
And if they're eaten, they get poisoned and kill the enemy. So most animals just stay away from the schools.
But yeah, so this is the Bexy. He's large. He's huge. And then this was, why can't I remember the name of this guy?
Oh, the krill.
The creel. Creel. This is...
Hold on, let me just... No.
Kind. Creel.
Creel.
Yeah, creel.
Kreel.
This is the creel. Which doesn't show up very well on my camera right now because the way we're doing the live.
But you can see it on Discord, and if you want Discord, we can get it into chat.
Yeah, go post that so TJ Kennedy can join our Discord and see all the creations that we've been doing.
It, and then I can link it to the top of the screen, right?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
How do I do it?
So you want to go to there. You want to go back. Go to Cheesyloops server and then invite. Yes. And then copy. And then just copy paste right there. Paste. There you go. That way you can see all the things we've been doing. And
I can't reach that. Can't get to the dots.
You're just gonna Alright. I have been avoiding these feet hands. So I'm not sure what I want to do.
Oh, I can't pin it. Can only Cheesy pin things?
Can only Cheesy pin things. You should be able to pin things.
Oh, I'm not doing this. Well, I guess.
You go there.
Yeah, it's going to go through the headphones. I just want to make sure that...
Whew. Gotta sneeze. Oh my goodness.
There we go.
There we go.
So it's up there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really avoiding doing these feet hands.
And if you know anyone who is artistically inclined and wants to really stretch their artwork, I'm giving very kind of vague descriptions of creatures that anyone can make look the way they want to. That's the point. The point is, since I'm the author, I get to say that it's right no matter what it looks like because I wrote it, right?
Right. Because Caitlin's creel looks completely different than what my creel looks like, and it's kind of fun to see it. And then Caitlin's Bexy, I mean, they have similar features, but
almost entirely different, honestly.
But they are completely different.
Like beak shape, eye shape, feather placement.
I love
body shape.
Yeah.
Foot size. Yeah, no, it's... Not to mention the creel was quite different in the same way, that it had different feet.
Yeah.
Even though they had the same number of tentacles.
They're regional forms.
Well, I imagine they're from... That their creel could be from different areas of the planet. And then... Or maybe it's from one creel is from one world and the other creel is from another. And then those can be used in two different ways.
Right. I've never played Red Dead Redemption. Why have I never played Red Dead Redemption. I never.
Never paid. I never bought it.
That's true.
I never really wanted to be honest.
Unless a lot of games lately I've been playing have been hooded suggestions.
And I've been working really heavily on indie because I kind of want to start an indie podcast about indie video games.
I'm really trying to avoid these feet. Okay.
There's this thing that happened in television where back in the 1970s, the most watched television show was MASH, watched by millions of people. And still to this day, I believe it's the most watched television show by the most people because in our current generation, Netflix has a million different things to watch.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then so does Hulu, and they're all different now. And there's nobody watching the same thing anymore. And that's what's going to happen in video gaming, and that area is clearly indie. Like, there's going to be so many, and we're going to divide ourselves just like we did with television. So I'm looking at that and thinking, maybe there's something to talk about with indie games. There's so many of them. They're so plentiful.
It also, Red Dead is very cowboy.
Yeah.
And not that it's a bad thing, but it's not a genre I was really
as one
pulled
of
into.
my podcasters says, Matt Apodaca on Get Played, he says, space is better than old in video games.
Space
Every
is
single time.
space is
And
better
I
than old.
wholeheartedly agree. So Red Dead is getting demerits just for being a game from that time that's past. Even though it is, I'm sure, a great game, I'm uninterested because technology is way more interesting than cowboys.
Okay.
I mean, there is a game on Steam that I want to buy called Ixion, and that one is a space game where it's a generation ship traveling from planet to planet, and you're managing the whole ship, like it's like a city sim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you're trying to keep everyone happy and keep the generation ship moving to the next planet.
All right. So these feet are supposed to be hand-like. So that means he needs thumbs. But this front foot here...
It needs to be grabby, is what it needs to be.
It needs to be grabby.
For sure.
This front foot, because it's a front foot, and if I put the thumb on one side only, would the game Raft count as indie? Raft. Want to say, yeah?
I don't know any other games. I don't know who made it.
See if it has
Red Beat
indie.
Interactive. I can't imagine Red Beat Interactive has any AAA games.
It says indie right there in the description.
It's more than likely indie. For sure, yeah. Iron
Yeah.
Gate. It's paired with all the other indies like Iron Gate and Clay and Worlds Unknown and Creepy Jar. Lots of different indie companies. But I mean, you can't look at like Dying Light and call that an indie game. Made by WB, you know? You can't call Marathon, the new Bungie game coming out, that you can't call that indie. Because they're not an independent developer. But right now they're linked pretty heavily with Sony and that's pretty strongly with Sony. So, but yeah, Raft seems to be an independent, much like Ark. I believe Ark is an independent.
Bless you. Ran out of rubbing alcohol.
And Raft is a survival crafting.
Right.
Is it all water? No.
I think Raft does. Okay, I played an unearthly amount of Ark in my day. TJ Candidate is Raft. You only are on your raft. Do you ever go on land?
You go on. I know you go on like boards and stuff.
Yeah. I've seen someone play it, and it looks kind of fun. That's the one where the shark comes and attacks you every now and again, right?
I honestly have never seen anything of it except for that one time when some famous YouTuber built a
you find
giant
islands.
spiral of things.
But you don't stay on the islands. You kind of just explore the islands and then go back to your raft with the resources that you have found.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And the story of the game is to create a radio antenna, maybe to contact civilization.
Oh, sneeze is coming.
Huh. Yeah, I've played a lot of Ark too. I mean, never was my favorite though.
Ow. Layers of Fear. I've never heard of Layers of Fear.
That is familiar from like PlayStation 2. It's an older one. Unless they remade it. Or unless
Oh,
I
got
think
another
of
sneeze.
Fear. It's a 2016 game. Psychedelic horror. That's a scary thought.
Sorry, guys, I keep sneezing. Psychic. Built
This
on
one's called
Unreal Engine.
Steam is, oh yeah, of course.
Neil has played Ark and he did not enjoy it. What was Ark about?
That's the one where you craft and build housing and you catch dinosaurs and ride them.
Oh, yeah, that one didn't look like it was as much fun.
It's kind of hard to get caught into.
I see.
You got to be good at games, I think. I've never played Layers of Fear. Oh, but it's Bloober Team, and they're pretty indie, aren't they?
Bloober.
Yeah. They're doing the Blair Witch, yeah, in the VR. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Man.
so the people who created Layers of Fear is doing a game based off the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Oh no, it's already out. It came out 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I heard something about them recently, but I thought that they were mostly remakes these days. They just mostly work with other companies to make their within their games.
I see.
Why am I don't.
This is fun to talk about video games and what everybody likes and different. See, I like sharing. This is fun. Didn't go as planned, but I'm still having fun.
Let's go.
I'm gonna give him tail feathers. I'm gonna give him little feathers on his tail and on his head.
I think there's the souls. The new term for them I've heard a lot recently is Soulsborne, because a lot of people want to put Bloodborne into it because they kind of came out at the same time and they both kind of deserve the credit. And in the same way that they call them Metroidvanias,
Oh, okay.
because kind of came out at the same time, kind of influenced each other. They worked well together,
Uh-huh.
and they were different enough to kind of be acceptable. That style of game though is hard for me to do.
I think I'm gonna move something into frame. I could talk about video games for weeks. Hey, listen. It gives Hooded something to talk about. And me ask questions.
Well,
Catlin, I think you're gonna love this thing. This is my little rubbing alcohol resin piece I did, and so because the edges are lifted here, so I'm gonna move this into frame. But isn't it cute? Look at this. It's so cute. Get out of it. No, I can bring it forward.
It's not up there this year.
Uh.
You're gonna do it in a second.
Oh, okay. I feel like you're behind.
That's
And it's
wild.
so pretty.
Yeah, you can see this.
It's so cute. I love it.
Well, you had extra from making the other one. You want to show them the?
Yeah, so the reason why I made this is because I needed somewhere to pour more resin into. Because, oh no. I think rubbing alcohol linked underneath is this guy from another video game. Who can name this video game?
I mean, I don't know if you can even see.
Epoxy resin. And then dyes and glitter.
Mold.
And a mold.
We haven't gotten there yet, according to my video. And I'm
Whoop, that
technically live.
that revealed it. This is a mold I made, but we needed somewhere to put all my extra. It could be your video quality. But Bayonetta, Saints Row, oh, Saints Row is a fun game.
Yeah, we played that together also.
Let's see if this
That one
changes
I mean,
anything.
I'm
This-
sad that I haven't had a chance to play the new Saints game, Boss Factory, but I'm not hearing great things, so that's disappointing.
So this was a PlayStation game. No one's guessed it.
But look, Chris, look at the screen.
I saw the Satan symbol.
Oh, yeah, it's the fleur-de-lis, which actually that's not what's normally there.
But that's...
It is a symbol used in the game.
That is
but
a symbol
not
used in the game.
What's normally there is Mickey Mouse's head.
Yeah. So there's the heart. It's Kingdom Hearts. I got a whole box
I hope I'm wrong about Boss Factory.
that had Kingdom Hearts. So if I take... What's a good one to take? Oh, the fire one's good. No early reveals. Ha 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 ha. Pieces go back together. Get in there. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. So this is also another mold I have, but it is also Kingdom Hearts. If you see in there. But yeah, it's just epoxy resin. I think these ones were UV resin. But I wanted dishes for my clay that I had extra bits of. And so we made that, and then I made the cat as an extra.
What she means is I wanted it, because I'm the one that cleans up your space after you're done crafting. I do it because I love her.
It's because I'm the queen.
And you also work more than me, so I make sure to get some extra stuff done for this.
I do work more than you, both.
In every single capacity of the word, yes. She's an angel, and I love her dearly.
I was also a great grandma when we played, I think, the first or second one. I think we've played almost all of them.
We never beat the third.
We just never... We played them. We played them all. Except for anything not... I think most of the Nintendo versions, we never played. Oh my gosh, putting this stuff...
Oh, you mean the Dream Drop Distance and 24/7 365?
Yeah, all those things. But yeah, so this is what I spray my...
I believe there's another one because they're making a fourth.
Little bit of rubbing alcohol. I just was tired of reaching across to myself. Because I want to fix some of these bits here and then get these toes fixed up. Whee! Almost dropped everything. Do you know a game called War of Mine?
Yes, I have heard of that. Is that 2D side-scroller weirdness? Yeah. The one where you're trying to survive in a warlike environment. It's incredibly depressing. And horrible. But not a bad game, I don't think. I dabbled in it a while back. It did not catch my attention.
Really?
Yeah.
That is not one I ever heard you... Like, I never even heard of it.
It was free when I had PlayStation Plus.
Oh.
I threw it up there and I gave it a try. And...
I see.
Yeah, it was really, really sad. Which of course it is, because you're trying to survive in a wartime environment.
Smooth out.
I do not think any indie game is bad. I think every indie game is built for somebody, and that may not be you. And
Right.
There's so many that there's probably going to be a lot that are not for you. You just got to go find the ones that are for you. Like Vampire Survivors. Really simple game. It has one mechanic. Blew my mind. The only mechanic in that game is
Move. Yeah.
You do eventually get to select different weapons that auto fire, but that's just gameplay.
Yeah.
It's not a mechanic.
You just...
The only thing you actually do in Vampire Survivors is move, and it's amazing. It's so cool. There's this time when like the enemies are entirely filling the screen except for this tiny area around you, and you're just obliterating them with all of your power.
Limbo and Inside are basic but interesting games.
Mm-hmm.
Limbo I tried to play. That's the one with the shadow.
It's the 2D. It was almost monochromatic. There was only a little bit of color. Yeah, and it was kind of a scary shadow on the wall kind of thing. It was really good. Really, really basic, like he says. And Inside is familiar.
Limbo was 2D side scroller.
Yeah.
Which is not generally the type of game I like to play.
Oh, I never played Inside. I've only ever seen it advertised. Puzzle platformer. Okay.
Interesting.
But yeah, the game that I've been playing the most lately is. It's almost an artistic thing in its own right. You craft the Dyson spheres. It's not like you install the machine. It's you put the parts in the way that make it look the way you want it to look. It's artistic.
Uh-huh.
And it's you're doing your art on a sphere rather than on a 2D surface.
Yeah.
And so trying to, control the angles is a little more difficult and a little more interesting.
Interesting.
And I can't wait till they have enemies. The dark fog.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna come in and just take over planets and start hoarding and keeping the planet so you can't have it. And you gotta go beat them up.
For me, video games, I have to be really, really interested in an aspect of the game for me to play it for longer than a few minutes. And if the thing that I'm interested in doesn't keep me interested, then I don't want to play it. So like depersonalization, the trying to figure out how to find all the endings and find out all the different scenarios that can happen in each case is very interesting and frustrating, and that's what makes me like it a lot. But a lot of like 2D side scrollers, it's like a repeat of the same puzzle.
It's more like the mechanics they use on the puzzle are different.
Yeah.
Like Shovel Knight, there's the shovel which you can use to bounce off enemies.
Uh-huh.
But if you don't use it, I think you get hurt and you fall through. It's been a while since I've played it.
Tangle Deep was good. I enjoyed Tangle Deep.
That is one of my favorite style, is that a kind of tactical, slow pace. Really wrap your mind around the scenario. And that one is like a constantly flowing version of that.
Last Guardian was a beautiful game.
Oh my god, yes it was.
It was fun at first, but I got stuck and never progressed far. You beat it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And just like every other one of those games, the ending is unsatisfying and painful. Every single one of those 3 games, the ending is unsatisfying and painful.
Shadow of the Colossus, Ico,
Yeah.
and then The Last Guardian.
But the graphics on that were just absolutely incredible. And then not only that, you get to grip onto them and ride him. He was so awesome. He was cute. He was sweet.
Uh-huh.
He was kind. He was protective until he got, of course, sees the symbol and gets you.
Yeah.
And he was like, you really grew attached to him like he was a kitty cat or a doggy.
Yeah.
It was really sweet.
Super cute game.
Which you couldn't get to do in Shadow of the Colossus.
No. Might have to go to the store after this. Trico, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Trico. That's not his name. That was his species.
Yeah.
Like, specifically. And he was like, he had feathers and fur.
I know. Right? Yeah.
Or was it all feathers?
No, I think he was furred.
Because he had like a bird head.
Yeah.
With kind of a dog demeanor and a cat body.
Yeah.
Is always what I got. He was playful and dog-like, but he was slim and sleek like a cat. And then he had that bird head.
Bend.
And their feet was his feet, at least his front feet, if I remember correctly, were more like talons.
Right.
Maybe paws with the claws coming out like dog. But I mean, a masterwork of what we're trying to do right now, actually, isn't it? Trico is a beast from another world.
Yeah.
Like, just at its core, we don't know the world. We don't get to. He never told us. It's just a beast from another world. Yeah.
Oh.
So, let's talk about depersonalization.
Okay.
Because the idea is you start as one of the elder gods. You are one of them, right? And then
No, no.
What exactly happened there?
Well,
Because it's kind of not easy to understand anyway, is it?
well, do we want to?
I don't think there's a spoiler in the game that hasn't been finished yet. This is a in development game. They're still making this game.
You start out as a boy of like a seemingly rich family.
You live in a castle.
Yeah, you live in a castle,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's a very quick intro. They get to the point right away.
they do. They get to it rather well, kind of. There, you realize there's something going wrong, and your grandfather teleports you. Really, it seems like he erases your memory for 10 years, so you just jump to the 10-year mark.
It kind of, yeah, it did, and you're in that college in Providence.
Yeah.
Like Rhode Island.
Yeah. And there's strange stuff happening, so like
And it's like 1920, right? There's no computers, there's very few cars.
right.
There's like stopwatches are commonplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And books are a big thing.
Yeah, and that kind of fits the like Lovecraftian theme a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, because oftentimes there's two things that made it fit the theme
Uh-huh.
from that point of view. There's the time setting, but there's also this kind of disconnection from the story itself. And that when you play as an N, you're playing as a Nan playing someone else. So, like, for example, when you read of the story of Cthulhu, you start with the main character who is getting something from his uncle who is writing about what he saw. That's the entirety of the story from the detective's point of view who's reading a story from his uncle.
Uh-huh.
All the Cthulhu stuff.
Right.
And then he goes and investigates it. So
I
there's
see.
this, what he hears about is from some other source, and you really dig into that source.
I see.
And that's very much a Cthulhu tradition.
But your grandfather basically makes you leave the castle because something's going down. If you find the right bits of clues, you find out that something went wrong. Your mother and your father, which your father doesn't look human.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Pass on, and then your grandfather.
They more than pass on. They like disappear in front of you, right in front of you.
Yeah.
You're the little boy, and your parents just poof.
Yeah, you're like 8 years old, and your parents just poof disappear. And
you leave outside the hallway and light the carpets on fire.
that's the best bit. You can light the carpets on fire just randomly, and you can hope to put them out. But you go meet up with your grandfather, and he says, "Step through this doorway, and I'll, push you forward 10 years."
So you become 18.
So you become 18. You're at this college, and
you find a mysterious note.
no, first you're dreaming.
Right? Oh.
First you're dreaming, and basically like this. What is that called? Sleep paralysis demon is coming up towards the bed, attacks you, and then dissipates. You wake up, and there's a note on the floor, and you want to go home. But the thing is that you've kind of lost some of your memories from all these years, and through clues and different things. So you go to the library to go figure out what's there, and you meet up with this guy.
It's kind of the tutorial area. It's showing you what you're supposed to do to play the game.
right.
Because you eventually, after this, when you're done with all that looking around the area, you go to the bridge and you go on whatever the story was telling you to do.
You go back to your castle.
You go back to your
your
castle.
family lived in, yeah.
And you go in there and explore it at 18, 10 years later.
Right.
Go ahead and continue.
But you can unlock certain things by doing the right stuff. So, and I found this out that So like there's a phone booth I found at one point.
I remember that.
Okay, and you put a coin in, you realize the phone booth is broken, and every now and again the coin slips off into another dimension and actually doesn't go into the phone.
I remember that. Yeah.
And
Because in the game we didn't tell them. In the game, a huge mechanic is the roll of a dice.
yes,
Like everything you do is a roll of the dice.
skill checks
Skill
and
checks, yeah.
yes,
And you get luck in order to re-roll the dice.
right.
And so when you roll to put the quarter in, which is a strange thing to roll for, right?
And it seems to be the higher the roll, the worse it is. So if you roll a 100,
Yes.
it's
yes.
not good.
100 is bad, but you want the lower number.
Yeah,
which
you
is
want
backwards to what you normally think.
right. And so I was sitting there playing it, and first time playthrough, I knew I could either fix it or steal all the coins out of the machine. I found some phone numbers I can use, and every time I would try to use the coin slot when it wasn't fixed, it would roll luck, and my luck roll determined whether or not my coin actually worked in the machine or not. And the first time through, I had a screwdriver on me just by chance. The second time through, I didn't have a screwdriver, so I couldn't even fix or steal all the coins out of the machine. And I'm like, what was different this time? And so I realized it was the screwdriver. I had the screwdriver the first time, so I stepped out of the phone booth, made the screwdriver, came back in, and I was able to either fix or, yeah.
Did you have to equip it too? Or did you just have to have it in your inventory?
Oh, did I have
Because equipping is normally only for combat, but I didn't know if it wasn't only because combat functions like a Final
No, I don't
Fantasy,
think I had to equip it because the same thing with the crowbar. I didn't have the crowbar equipped when I went to the sewage grate for that whole section of things.
Oh, okay.
But the funny thing is about this whole thing is that you find a rune in your teacher's room, and then you find a thing saying, I'm looking for this rune of this symbol, which happens to be the rune you find in your teacher's room. And you can't progress the story without digging in the trash can and finding what street you're on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What street that place was on.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you could go to the library and do this, but there were certain things. So
yeah, so that's the idea behind the game is you find the things in the world to unlock the new places, to find new things to unlock new places.
Right.
But the tutorial area ends at the bridge.
yes,
And after the bridge, you go home, where you learn something important.
that the
You are the silver key.
the silver key from, I don't remember how to pronounce her name because it is kind of eldritch in nature.
Yog Sothoth. Yog Sothoth, yes. And she's represented in the game as like a cute little anime girl.
Yeah.
Yog Sothoth.
And
her
then
name.
and
Which is
then
a very Cthulhu name.
and the other one, which we gave a very inappropriate nickname to.
A Fogomoron.
Yeah, a Fogomoron.
Which we gave an appropriate name because it sounds like a Fogomoron.
An F moron.
Yes.
And forever that's what she was. A moron.
And she's kind of like
It's
the
basically
bad guy in
basically creation and death.
Oh, is that the idea?
Yes.
A Fogomoron is death.
A Fogomoron is death.
It's so hard not to say it the wrong way.
And the other one is creation. I don't think they call her life. I think they just basically talk about creation.
I see.
And
which is a very much a Cthulhu thing because when you create things, where does it come from?
right.
There's like this weird existential nature to it.
Right. And so then something happens and you become basically her vessel that can go and build up her power because her power has been weakened.
And this is the game.
And you create characters that you live through to go through scenarios to try to change, to build up power, and you can end up...
There's also a disaster happening.
Yeah, there's...
Right? That's the thing, is there's a disaster, and you're trying to figure out what happened with this disaster.
Right, and I haven't quite figured out everything yet.
4 scenarios right now.
Currently. You can replay the original scenario, and then 3 other ones that you have created.
Are all 3 of those connected to the disaster?
I
think I saw in one of them they mentioned disaster.
There's something crazy happening in all of them where you have these crazy creatures and like in one of them this end creature is this dandelion tentacle monster that creates poisonous spores and cult members and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. And I still haven't figured out how to finish that. And that's the thing. I've played another thing
that is very heavy in Lovecraft.
Yeah, very, very heavy in Lovecraftian. But the cult one, I think I played 3 times, and I had to make.
Wow. You played it for like 7-8 hours the other day, which
I did.
Is good because now we're having a wonderful conversation about it, right?
Right. But I played it 3 times, and you cannot run the same character. You have to create a new character every time and run it through.
Is that because when you die,
your
have
character's
different options? You have 3 options. The first one is to reset the combat you died at.
Yeah.
And the second one is to reset the scenario. So you go before where you got into that combat, maybe fix it.
Yeah.
And the third one is reconstitute consciousness.
Yeah, so what you do is you basically kill off that character and build a new character with different traits. Or same, so you can build a character with the similar traits if you remembered what traits you gave it. But no, even if you survive the scenario, that character can no longer jump back into that scenario. That is the scenario. That is what it did. But
it's like that's the person that you took over and how they reacted, or is it more like that person appeared out of nowhere and did the work?
You know, I'm not quite sure because I took different characters to the same scenario 3 different times, and
what was the scenario you did that wasn't the main one? That first one in Providence. What was the scenario about?
What was the Providence scenario about?
No, the next one you did 3 times.
Oh, that was the cult one.
That was the cult, yeah. Continue about that. What was the cult?
You were there because this rich guy was trying to investigate why his daughter was sick all the time.
So you were in the cult's kind of organization home?
And he told you, meet me at this church.
Okay.
And that's why you're at the church. And then you notice some weird things. And it's very eerie. Okay, I'm not mad at those feet. Like, the feet could be a lot better. It was very, very eerie, kind of... Like, every scenario that you walked into that had these things in it, you're, like, wondering, why would someone do this? And it's kind of graphic, and so that's why I'm trying to...
Cthulhu can be.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the graphic nature of it.
In fact, the story of the Necronomicon, that one also is a secondhand story.
Yeah.
Not to mention, that really, really creepy one, The Thing on the Doorstep. That one is a story about a guy who is watching as his best friend is being taken over. No, his best friend's girlfriend is being taken over by her grandfather to continue living. It was one of the most intense things I've ever seen. And again, all from a secondary point of view.
All right.
Like, you're not a part of the story. Your character's not watching it all happen, like, firsthand normally. There are times when he does that, and those are intense.
Yeah.
Like when he really gets the aliens involved and the dark stuff involved.
But, so, depending on your actions, you get to see different things happen in this scenario. So, like, I stole a key and was able to find a crypt. And in one of the scenarios I played, I found candy that they had this weird purple candy. Hold on. They had this weird purple candy. And this weird purple candy, I succeeded in my role in one of the scenarios and failed in the other scenario. And this piece of candy, I found out, was what was making the girl sick. Because they wanted her for whatever reason. And I never have figured out why they wanted her. In any of the scenarios, either I succeeded in or died in, I can never figure out why they wanted her to be sick. Yeah. So...
That was a part of the disaster.
What?
That's where you were talking, because I recall you being in the church and you were talking to there was a priest, there was the dude shaking, and the priest had a little girl. Was that the little girl?
The priest, that was her father, not the priest. The little girl is...
Oh, I see.
The sick little girl, yeah.
So that was because they said imminent disaster when referring to her, I believe. There must have been something about the disaster. I wonder if that's even been fully realized and it's not in development still.
I think this story, the scenario, is completed. I just
Yes,
need to
but I
find.
think all the scenarios interrelate.
Mhm.
And since they're not done with the scenarios, the final story can't.
Hi, Wombassi. Welcome in.
Oh,
We are
hey, Ice Buddy. It's the
Ice
Iceman.
Buddy, Iceman. This is our Bexy. This is a beast from a nameless world. Um, what's this message?
Oh no. Why would you not?
Yeah, why? That's so weird. Okay. Okay. I don't know why you wouldn't have an ice cube.
But the Bexy is from another world. It's a giant bird. It can put 3 or 4 of the native race called the puck in their mouth. The puck are about 3 feet tall, humanoids. And so this is a very big creature, and they're very scared of it. And it is often mistaken for a dragon. Its bones are used in the concrete that they make. The feathers are used for riding at the, in this case, the top of the head.
I'm gonna put some more feathers on the tail.
No, so some feathers, and tail feathers.
Some tail feathers. And then we're talking about video games as well.
She's playing a game called Depersonalization, and it's a Cthulhu-inspired 2D seek and find kind of game. Not seek and find.
Not seek and find.
Detective kind of game. In fact, I was thinking of a game that was very much like it. That's kind of way more advanced. It's by a company called Larian Studios. They recently did Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, wow.
Which is D&D, and that was released this year. That's how advanced it is. And you'll recognize the next game, the game that I'm referring to is called Divinity. Original Sin 2, specifically, because in that game you could find things in the story, in the world, and bring them to people to alter the story.
Yes.
Just like you're doing in this game. It's a really, really good game. And so is Depersonalization, because instead of making it a hyper complex game, they've reduced the complexity down to the roll of a dice. And they even have counter rolls sometimes where the opponent rolls, and then sometimes those are hidden.
Yeah. So you don't know if you succeeded, if you could do better the next time.
Well, not to mention there's 2 kinds of success. There's the higher success. What was that called? Upper limit? Something like
Critical.
That? Critical success.
Love Cthulhu. I think
this might be interesting for you then.
Yeah,
Cthulhu is so
if you like puzzles and you like Cthulhu, I think you would like Depersonalization. It's still.
I mean, you could just pick it up, play a scenario for a little while, and then put it down.
Yeah.
It's almost like a roguelike, but it's not.
Yeah, because
Anon is this main character you're playing over and over, or playing someone else
that you've built.
So
you can give them. You have so many loud noises.
Sorry.
You have attribute points that you can give them, and you have job skills that you can build.
True. And then you can buy things in the main world when you're Anon that upgrade, heal, whatever during their life. Yeah. Like you can send them on a vacation to heal their HP, right? Right,
but the funny thing is there's a small story, like what was that? Reading story. Text adventure. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But they only have one text adventure available. They haven't finished off the text adventures.
No.
And I still haven't figured out the ending to that either. I've played that twice now.
Like, it is a work in progress, but that's the best part about indie. Since AAA is allowed to do it, with the Cyberpunk, since they're allowed to do it, then indie is doing it. And they've been doing it for ages, haven't they? Besiege has been out still being made for, I don't know, 10 years maybe? How long have I had that game and been playing Besiege?
Oh, I have no idea.
And that's a really good indie game too. That's an engineering kind of game where you put blocks together to build catapults and war and death machines. And
I wish list it. We'll pick up later. Yeah, no problem. You let me know if you start playing with it, because it'd be fun to talk to someone about it and see what scenarios. How you got certain scenarios, or
because there's so many different ways it can go.
Besieged. I wasn't a big fan of Besieged, but it wasn't a bad game.
No, it's just like I'm saying, every single indie game is built for somebody, even if it's not you.
Mr. Zard's Mix, welcome in.
Hey, we're talking indie games and monsters from other worlds.
Yeah, so this is our Bexy, our monster from a nameless world.
A bird of misfortune.
A bird of misfortune that has 3 legs with hands. So these are grabby. These are grabby. If you guys have any artistic knack, lack of a better term at the moment, we have a
Discord.
We have Discord, and we've been posting a description of it that is kind of a loose description, enough for everybody's creature to be a little differently.
And in fact, on Discord, you can see the differences. It's pretty drastic in the end.
Yeah, so I know Catelyn has been doing her Bexy while we've been streaming.
I know Neil has done a Bexy too.
Neil has done a Bexy. But this is our other... let me put him back here.
So Creole.
This is our Creole.
They like to live underwater, and they have a specialized ink. And it's not an ink, it's a gas that they spray underneath them, and and they can float up into the air on it and like lay on it because it's lighter than oxygen. They go flying up in the air and spend lots of times up there.
And Catelyn's Creole is far different than my Creole based off of the description that was given.
And that's the goal.
And so we've been just
wrong answer.
Kind of having fun, like creating things that are, I don't know how you would say it, but just
beasts from a nameless world.
Yeah.
Just a random monster from nowhere.
Yeah. So this is, I did try to make, so this was air dry clay because I was experimenting with air dry clay for the first time. And it's not my favorite medium. I'm learning, like I'll use it up. I'll figure out how to use it up. But I don't know if I'll ever use it after. I won't buy any more. I'll use it up and I won't buy any more because I love polymer clay and the flexibility I have with it. Which is the same with like epoxy resin and UV resin. I prefer UV over epoxy.
I believe Anne McGregor also said Monster Hunter when she saw that bird.
Yeah, she did.
I don't know of any birds that have 3 legs in Monster Hunter.
You played Monster Hunter, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, hold on a second. Oh, bum. Oh, stretchies.
It's one of those games that are really hard to do.
The other beautiful...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. The other beautiful thing about
Diggers.
art is that this is my recreation of a Bexy. This was my original.
That was out of air dry clay, though.
And it was out of air dry clay.
Polymer. And you have more experience with polymer, and this is a more detailed creature.
Yes. And I did not like it.
But she made a good Bexy. We got 2 good Bexys. I mean, that can be thrown.
This, yeah. You probably can break this up, make it into slip. Just crumble it and make it into slip. There's wires in it, so you have to be careful when we do that.
But if you have any kind of artistic experience, that's the goal. The goal is to have a lot of people make these and put them on our Discord so we can all have these monsters just floating around the universe.
Right. And then we've been talking about video games. Initial Bexys were both revamped. Yes, very much so. Both revamped Bexys.
It was one of the more complicated.
I think that's what it...
Well, like, now we have... Next week we'll have something called a... Oh, man, I just missed it here. It's called a Thorpe. And this is another one that might be a little complicated. Because if you see a Thorpe, you are going to die. Or so you think you will. With 6 massive arms coming out of its chest and 4 legs twice your size, it likes to climb trees and jump down on unsuspecting victims, only to feast on plants when the victims scamper away in fright. It seemingly has a sense of humor, making what must be a laugh as its victims escape. Befriending one is an interesting experience. If you don't run away, you can lead it to another in order to make them a victim. But get on its bad side, and he'll just turn you into jam.
So yeah, that was the Thorpe. TJ Candidate, you are very welcome to post any pictures of pets. I love pets.
Absolutely.
Pets are the best.
Throw them right into that general chat. Even fish. Fish have personality like nothing else sometimes.
Oh, they do. Who is your fish? Seminosuke.
Seminosuke ate one of the other fish, though.
Do we have 2?
No, we didn't. the roommate we lived with who bought them and got the tank and everything and then left them there. Left them
that's
without
right.
anything to do. And
So
so
it
we
was-
took Samanosuke in after he
He ate his.
his roommate.
Yeah, your roommate left him. The Bexy is done.
It just needs to be painted.
No, her Bexy's.
Oh.
Catelyn's Bexy is done too.
Well, good. That means ooh.
Oh. Oh, I like it. Yes, Catelyn, let your arm recover. That
Next
is
Monday.
That is awesome. I'm loving it. I can definitely see. Oh my goodness. That is so cool. I can definitely see where like you can mistake that for a dragon if it was flying overhead. With the accordion neck. The eyebrows are the black feathers. So there's your black feathers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe give me black feathers underneath all that red.
Right.
Maybe its eyes are black feathers.
Those I love the eyes that you did.
They scream misfortune.
They do.
Don't go near that thing.
When you stare into the void stares back,
That's
kind
the
of.
void.
That's the void.
Don't go near it because it can hold each hole.
That's beautiful, Catelyn. I love it. I'll have to bake this and, geez, fireworks like crazy tonight. Bake this and then paint it for myself. Figure out how I'm gonna get black feathers. Eyes are hard. Highlights don't want to work today. No, I love the black void effect, even if it's accidental.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah, very much so.
With you, it's the wings, I think. The wings definitely are speaking mostly of that misfortune.
Yeah,
Something dread about them.
yeah. But oh, because her first one was very owl-esque, and this one is very like has an owl feature to it, but
Almost
is
like
not.
a phoenix and a dragon.
Yeah, almost phoenix and dragon combined, and I love it.
Whereas yours is more like raven or crow and dragon.
I
Sort of
was
corvid.
right. I was thinking like I was thinking these are more paw-like. So I'm getting lots of color practice, learning all sorts of new techniques. Ooh, that's good.
That's the goal, right? You're learning techniques with your molding here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can
I
get
made
TJ to get techniques on aquascaping.
he can make
Or maybe he just needs some random fish monsters he can put in his tank.
right, or when we do aquatic monsters,
Like
he can
Glip.
like Glip, or even our krill here, he can
Yeah.
make. He can do different scapes in his tanks for these creatures. I'm really happy you're enjoying this, Catelyn. I really am too, because
Bring
it's
as many as you can. Everyone, draw a picture, make a thing. It's fun to create.
the
It's
stinking
important to create.
fireworks.
Yeah. America.
No, that's beautiful. I'm loving it. So what we'll do is
I'm gonna tell you one more creature.
we're going to talk about the trit.
These little creatures are looking right at you, or so you think. It has clusters of eyes encircling the head atop an oblong thorax. The trick is that it can only see out of 2 eyes at any given time. While these small creatures live in the ground in hives, they spend most of their time flying around in the air collecting pollen on small scaly wings.
So these are going to be the deceptive creatures that we're going to do for Monday.
The squalena, which is this innocent-looking, terrible, horrible monster. The trit, which is something that wants you to think it can see you. And the thorp, the safe, scary thing.
And we'll make sure we post these in Discord so you have them, and then we'll all kind of choose which one we want to do and kind of get a head start of ideas that we want to play with for Monday.
And even if it's aquascaping and it's an interpretation of my words, it's right. It's art. and I accept it. I
Ooh.
accept it if that's what you want to call
The
it.
other thing is if you're not artistic in like drawing or sculpting or crafting, the other really cool thing is taking each of these creatures and writing a story with them in it. I think would be kind of a fun thing to see, where you take this creature's description and write a little short story about them. So if you have any writing
True,
capabilities,
yeah, absolutely.
that'd be fun to see a story with these guys in it.
You put it into your world. Let me see what it looks like in your world with your people.
Yeah.
I'm for that too, absolutely. There's no wrong way to use these monsters.
So.
Well, unless you use them for like Nazi paraphernalia or something like that. Please don't use them for that. Other than that.
But I think this is where I'm going to end it for tonight after all the craziness with my internet and having to do this on my phone. Hopefully we get all this stuff figured out for Monday and there's no more issues. Hooded did do driver updates. And then thank you JavaRec for my mail. That's so cool. And thank you customer for my cards. I got a card I didn't have yet. But I really appreciate you everybody being here tonight and having conversations with us and crafting with us wonderful creatures. So thank you.
Please come help make more. We want it so bad.
Yes.
We want everyone we can to make some new monster. We want to see them all.
But yeah, thank you, Catlin, Neil, and TJ Kennedy. I know Wambise was here, Wambase, and Wambasi. Sorry, I said that wrong. He was so impressed I said it right the first time, too. And Mr. Zard's Mix came in today, too. I really appreciate you guys coming in. So have a good night. We'll see y'all later, and stay cheesy.